If you're having coffee with me, I'll welcome you to this, my humble city of gold, home to my tangled words. There's something about all that glitters that just draws you in. It's easy to forget that not all that is gold glitters. El Dorado means the golden in Spanish, commonly associated with a mythical golden kingdom. The name is said to have originated from El Rey Dorado, meaning the golden king. This was the 16th century term for a mythical tribal chief or king of the Muisca people who, as a part of an initiation rite, was said to cover himself with gold, then be submerged in the river. El Dorado later became associated with a fictitious country or city in South America that was said to be paved with gold and jewels. Many expeditions, read that as imperialistic overtures to plunder, were launched to find this lost and elusive city, but none succeeded. In Zimbabwe, we are no strangers to having a misunderstood city. In 1902, Carl Peters wrote a book called The El Dorado of the Ancients, based on his travel and discoveries in Africa, where he claimed to have found the ruins of ancient civilizations such as the Great Zimbabwe that were connected to the biblical affair and the legendary El Dorado. If you're having coffee with me, I'll tell you that after navigating a lot of controversy and racial bias, history now credits the ancient ruins of Great Zimbabwe as being the domains of the local folk and not foreigners, mythical or otherwise. Although I still ask myself how we fell from that majestic grace and opulence to where we are now. What happened to all our knowledge and wealth? El Dorado can be loosely defined to mean a place of fabulous wealth or opportunity to obtain it. El Dorado is also the title for the episode 3 of Al Jazeera's Gold Mafia documentary, which aired on Thursday, the 6th of April 2023. The investigative series gives a lot of food for thought on how society's obsession with gold underwrites a global shadow economy. Episode 3 took a look at the Dubai connection of Southern Africa's illicit gold trade. The sheer scale of the alleged money laundering activity boggles the mind. If you're having coffee with me, I tell you that finally the government seems to have started taking action on the Gold Mafia crew by freezing the accounts of some of the principal players. On one hand, you have to commend them for finally taking action, but on the other hand, when you think about it, it's been 3 weeks since the first part of the documentary came out. What are the odds that sufficient time had passed for the people to liquidate their local accounts? Besides, from watching the docu, we know they deal with large volumes of cash and offshore accounts. So freezing accounts is really a gesture and action than an actual response. If you're having coffee with me, I'd ask you if there are any rich people who made it without dabbling in some dodgy practices. While none of the Gold Mafia crew ever appear on the rich people lists, I recall some time back I saw someone was saying that anyone who appears on those Forbes lists should just be investigated for fraud or other crime. It's unsurprising to find that people who make those lists also end up serving time behind bars. Thanks to social media, the bar for success gets pushed so high you need wings or a bit of financial fraud to sail over. Someone will guilt you for coming from a poor background, yet the silver spoon in their mouth is from connections and or proceeds of ill-begotten gains. In January of 2022, there was a socialite wedding that practically brought Harare to a standstill with its lavish show of opulence. The couple flew in Nigerian Afrobeat superstar Davido, who was said to be a childhood friend of the groom. Well, it turns out the couple are now on a list of people wanted for drug trafficking by the Nigerian authorities. The Zimbabwean anti-corruption community has promised that this year is their year and they believe they will recover cash and assets valued at over $1 billion that were acquired through proceeds of crime. Well, if they recover that kind of money, We may not even need external investors to turn Zimbabwean cities into world-class cities. The government says it has secured investors to build Melfort Smart City. But of course, the identity of the new investors will be announced in due course to avoid jeopardizing ongoing negotiations. Meanwhile, looks like we prematurely celebrated the completion of Unit 7 expansion at Wange Power Station because power cuts will continue, according to the Ministry of Energy. There has been an improvement in power supply in the country with the coming in of Unit 7, but you will be cognizant that it's not yet available commercially. It is still going through some tests as we speak, so we don't expect the Zimbabwe Electrical Transmission Distribution Company to revise its load shedding schedule soon. All that glitters. Did you do anything special over the long Easter weekend? What's going on in your neck of the woods?